Just a couple bad weather fans representing New York, talking all things sports. Man, what could go wrong? We got Alex, who's a fan of the Knicks, and Mike of the Nets. The yin-yang of the tri-state, place your bets on the Yankees, Giants, Mets, or Jets. Yeah, you should listen if they're sparking your interest. If you made a vow to your team, don't break it. Bad weather fans is the relation.
That's right. This is Bad Weather Fans, episode number 138. Mike Biseglia, Alex Benezowitz, and the Brooklyn Nets preseason debut. They fall to the Philadelphia 76ers, 127-108. It's the debut of Ben Simmons, the big three together. The New York Knicks, their preseason debut starts on a Tuesday. We're recording this late on Monday night after the Nets-Knicks game. After the Nets, that's foreshadowing for the future, after the Nets 76ers game. And I'm all smiles because it was just fun to watch some basketball. Alex, how the hell are you?
I'm doing great. Monday nights, Ben Simmons, and he's here. And I couldn't watch it, but we'll get into that in a second. We'll also get into some Knicks talk later.
Well, let's just start with that because
Dolan J. Trump, if you want to get 20% off, use BWF on his site, dolanjtrump.com. Okay, now what'd you say? Go ahead.
Okay, so I watched the game. You did not watch the game, but I know a lot of people were having this issue. Now, you live in the borough of Manhattan.
That is correct.
What had happened for you tonight that made it unable for you to watch Brooklyn Nets basketball?
So I was actually looking for the game because I wanted to at least watch the beginning just to see, Ben Simmons and what he was doing and just get a feel for it, especially since we're recording tonight. And I looked up on the cable guide and I saw, I have RCN, which is like not a very popular cable company in New York City, but it's one of those that are really just in Manhattan. And I get the TiVo boxes and everything, right? Still pay for cable, right? So I looked up on the search and I saw the Yankees were on Yes. So I looked up what channel the Nets were on because I didn't know what channel Yes 2 is or whatever they have,
right.
Yes Plus or whatever it is. And I found the channel and it was the Yankees on there, but it said NBA basketball at 7:30. So it was like 7:20. I saw Aaron Judge was coming up. I was like, all right, I'd watch that at bat. And then, I was like cleaning up some stuff. And then all of a sudden 7:30 hits and Michael K goes, if you want to watch the Nets, go on the Yes app. I'm like, oh, fuck this. And then I saw they were on NBA TV and I went on NBA TV and it was blacked out. I was like, oh, well, guess I'm not watching the Nets, so that was kind of annoying, but you know what? It's a preseason game. So they're not going to really prioritize that.
And for people that are like, oh, that's why the Nets don't ever respect. First of all, it's the Yankee network. It's Aaron Judge is chasing the record.
Well, the Nets need their own network. The Nets need their own network. The Nets just need their own network. I think.
No, it's better for them to be on the Yankee network. I promise
Why is
you.
that?
For their visibility to be on the same channel as the Yankees, the biggest sports
team
team
your
in
own
America.
channel. Be like the Nets channel. I don't know.
I get
call it a Nets network or something.
I feel you, but I think
programming.
I think for them being on the Yes network, the dollars and cents are there. All right. So from the first game standpoint, it was just bizarre to see Ben Simmons out there running it with Kyrie and Kevin Durant. My first impressions of the team are, one, they definitely have a lot more depth than they did last year. Guys like Royce O'Neal coming in, shooting shots, making threes right away. All of a sudden you're like, okay, this is very comforting. That was nice to see. Joe Harris back. It was good to see Joe. You could realize how much they missed Joe. And then Simmons is just bizarre. Like, it was a bizarre experience watching him. He did a lot of good things. Remember, this is his first game he's played in forever. So you got to remember that. And he did a lot of things right. He makes the right pass. He cuts the lane. He can dunk. He can finish. He gets out in the open court. The Nets are going to be explosive, I believe, in transition. He cannot shoot the basketball, though. I know you had the one tweet that you did trolling the Nets where he had that fadeaway kind of jump shot, did not go in. He did have one hook that he missed. He cannot shoot. Now, that's going to be a problem eventually, right? If he can't shoot. Now, I'll say this. There's so many things that he does right that you felt good and excited about net basketball. And my big takeaway from them all together, Alex, the offense flowed. Now, the defense was horrendous, but the offense wasn't just give the ball to Durant and watch. I would say for every possession in that first half with the Stars, they ran offense. It was crazy cool to watch and to see them actually have a semblance of an offense. I'm not saying everything was perfect, but at least they didn't have ISO ball, get out of the way. It was screens, handoffs, penetration, kickouts. That was very encouraging to see. And my final note on my epic monologue here to start on the Nets is, and I made fun of myself here, but I'll say this, and now I can say it with certainty. Ben Simmons and Nick Claxton cannot be on the court at the same time. That did not work because none of them can shoot outside the paint, and it's a problem when they're both together. But it was a lot of fun to watch Nets basketball, which was back. I'm encouraged. It was like a drug. I need more of it. I'm disappointed it's over now, and it was just a taste of the preseason. But fuck, it was nice to have basketball back. And again, no Seth Curry and no TJ Warren for the Nets.
That was like a schmooze kind of opening right there, man.
Yeah, you're not allowed to talk. No, I'm sorry. I'm just kidding. I'm excited. I'm rocking my
play some
Jersey
highlights
Nets.
now. Yeah. No, you're wearing your New Jersey Nets shirt because, like Uncle Fulio said when you were on the controversy on Nothing But Nick's YouTube channel with him, having a real New Jersey Nets fan.
I hate that. I hate that so much.
I saw your face like you lost color, but you were being respectable.
You know what's
I mean,
you know what's funny about that, and I love Uncle Fulio, and I know where he's coming from.
He's been on the
this
show.
This whole idea that like it's a compliment to me that I've liked the Nets longer than new Net fans. That like
people respect you for it. I mean, it's a respect thing.
I understand that. I get that. It's not. I don't care about earning the Knick fans' respect. They should care about me earning their respect. Did I say that right?
I guess. But honestly, back to
having fun.
I know. Back to the Nets. Who, if they can't play together, who's playing center for the Nets? I know it's
Ben Simmons.
The new NBA. Come on,
man. I'm telling you, they were running and flying. No, it would be a problem in spots. It's going to be fascinating.
And
it's
a lot more than spots. I mean,
it's going to be fascinating to see how that all turns out. They need to pick up a guy.
Yeah, they
know. Day'Ron Sharpe was bad. He didn't play well. Nick Claxton was.
I thought he was Quentin Grimes though. Day'Ron Sharpe. I thought he was Quentin Grimes.
He is.
This playing. You know what it is?
He is.
It's funny because Ben Simmons is like Rudy Gobert. People like nationally perception wise, people they act like they suck. They act like Rudy Gobert sucks and Ben Simmons sucks when they really are Hall of Fame level talents.
Sure.
Right.
Good to hear you say
Rudy Gobert is going to be a shoo-in for the Hall of Fame. The multiple time defensive player of the year, plays ball in France. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame. Easy. Ben Simmons with his issues, I don't know, but like he can be. You know what I mean? He's still so young, and you know what I mean? And it's insane that we're talking about this, but he hasn't played in 2 years.
Right.
So, and that's why I posted that video of him missing that shot because one, it was funny. Two, I was trying to annoy Nets fans.
Of
and
course.
Three, it just shows like, don't forget this guy, the last time we saw him, it was in the playoffs and he wouldn't shoot a 5-footer, not the 10-footer that he was turning around the lane. He literally wouldn't shoot point blank at the basket.
Yeah, sure.
And he got booed out of town. And to defend Nets fans, the video that's going viral that Knicks fans are posting and, a lot of other fans, I'm sure, are posting at this point. When Ben Simmons missed 2 free throws, he's getting booed by the crowd. I'm sure that was Sixers fans.
Of course it was. Of course it was Sixer fans.
Philly people live in New York. A lot of Philly people live in New York.
Oh, yeah.
And the train, I know it's not at the Garden where it's as easy, but it's pretty easy to go to Madison Square Garden from Philly to go to Brooklyn to Atlantic Terminal on Long Island Railroad. It's not that hard.
Oh,
so that's I just wanted to say that as a non-biased Knicks fan here, and I want to trash the Nets and laugh at them. Like, it's a preseason game, dude. Like, you're not there and booing Ben Simmons if he misses 2 free throws in the preseason.
Of course not. Philly's close. It's an easy out for any. First of all, it's an easy out to make fun of the Nets and say, oh, there's nobody there, and the fan.
It might have been 10 people booing too.
Right,
there's like nobody in the crowd.
It's the go-to for people that don't like the Nets, that just want to go to it and can't think of anything creative themselves. Like, no offense at this point. If you hate the Nets and you're 3 years into it and you can't come up with anything else, get better at disses. Like, figure it out. Like, come up with something new and original. We get it. Okay. I get it. We get it. Like, it's just dumb. It's just at this point, really, it's It's lazy. It's
yeah.
stupid. It's unoriginal. It's uninspired. And it comes from people that lack the idea and concepts to put actual disses together. There's Knick fans on here on Twitter that I interact with that actually can have fun disses back. But when you go to the go-to comments, it's just so boring.
10
Stupid.
fans. You guys have 10 fans.
It's just the same
Stupid.
unoriginal stuff.
Knicks own New York, it's RJ Barrett's town. And
I guess
it's played
it is.
out, man. It's played out. I agree. It's played out.
It's so stupid. It's like nobody, like Jet games get overhauled by every other team. Nobody gives to give a fuck. Happens to the Nets. It's like, let's make fun of them. But anyway, I don't get me sidetracked.
Well, that's because of how much trash the Nets have talked towards the Knicks over the years. So we're giving it back, and I get that. But at this point, it's 3 years later. Like, let's try to change the conversation.
Please, yeah. Like that's why I'm trying to. That's why it's fun having this with you. Like Ben Simmons. Like for me, I realized Ben Simmons, him shooting is going to be a scary thing. I thought for the first game back in a year and a half, 2 years, I thought he looked okay. He looked pretty good. Like it was fine. He ran. He took minutes. So one of the comments you had on Bad Weather Fans on one of the previous episodes, you said, "I don't know if I'll ever see Ben Simmons play." Well, you just did.
Well, I didn't see him. I couldn't.
You didn't see him, but I promise you, there's tape out there where Ben Simmons did play, where Ben Simmons did get run, and the Nets were there. And the ugly things.
He's fresh.
Quarter, I mean, like he should be. And it was, he had some nice passes to KD for dunks. Mm-hmm. It wasn't the Kevin Durant stand, give him the ball and watch show. There was ball movement. They got people involved. It was a very different experience. They played the Sixers without Embiid and Fatso Harden, but oh well. Like
it's preseason game. It's just getting it's learning each other's nuances and gelling. I hate that term, but they're just learning each other. It was fun, man. It was exciting, and as for you, tomorrow night when you're watching the Knicks, and the overreactions will happen. Of course. So let Net fans have the overreactions too. It's just part of it. We haven't seen basketball in forever for our teams. Basically, both teams ended around the same time. The Nets ended 10 days later, 14 days later, or whatever it was. So it's just exciting to see basketball again and to be able to have a conversation about how Ben Simmons played. And overall, I was pleased. It was nice to see Royce O'Neal, definitely an upgrade. Joe Harris, rusty to started connecting later, and then Kyrie and Durant had some nice second quarters. And I also like this, Alex. I've talked about how important it is for the Nets to take the regular season seriously. I like the fact that the Nets played their starters in the first half and they showed some offense and they took it seriously. Like, to me, and I know this is baby steps and it's pathetic, but this is how pathetic the franchise has been. That was important, that it wasn't like no Kyrie, no Durant, no Simmons because it's the Sixers. Like, legit normalcy. Harden and Embiid didn't show up until like halfway through the second quarter. Who knows what the fuck they were doing? Why, that's the kind of stuff. I was like, I'm glad that's gone. Like, Harden and Embiid showing up in the second quarter. That was the Nets last year. No, seriously, like Durant. I hear you.
And Irving coming back and like nobody there and they laughing. Like, they played the first quarter like they meant it. And to me, that was a bigger deal than like Embiid and the Harden that were nowhere to be found.
Yeah. No, I listen. I don't even know where to go, but there's so much there that you just said. But it's funny because Durant has no choice but to play hard because he's stuck there. You know what I mean? It just goes back. Yes. You guys just went through a whirlwind offseason. You know what I mean? Like worse than the Knicks. And
way worse.
It's insane mentally, and nothing happened. You know what I mean?
They improved the roster,
right? If like we talk about this all the time, if you left the planet and like went to space for like 3 months and you came back, you're like, oh well, I guess that was a good offseason. We got Royce O'Neal,
TJ Warren
is back, TJ Warren, all
exactly.
Right, cool. Nothing happens. It's crazy, but it's also Harden and Embiid showed up late, as you said, but like, do they really care? You know what I mean? I know what you're saying. Like, yeah, they should care because now you're seeing how, everybody was saying like you can't just show up in the playoffs unless you're, we're the Celtics, at towards the end of the big three when one of the years they were low seed when they didn't take it seriously, they still got to the finals, I think. And just that's just random thought. I'm not
the chemistry of years together.
Right. You're right. You can't just show up and, obviously I always say fit is something that losing teams say. or teams without talent say, or teams that don't get along say. When they say, well, these guys don't fit together, that means they don't get along. If you're talented enough, you'll fit. Like Ben Simmons, Kyrie, and Durant, if they're talented enough and they want to play together, they'll dominate. And it's just what it is. But you got to play together in order to learn each other. And that's just basketball, to become a cohesive unit, as Clyde would say. So it's just
so true.
It is what it is. And it's just so funny how, it's just so funny because I posted today because everybody's getting excited about the Knicks preseason and stuff like that. And I posted today at Knicks Central on Twitter that, remember this last year? Don't get too hype about the preseason. It was Julius Randle hitting the game winner over some nobody on the Wizards. And it's just like, and we got all excited, like, oh, I didn't hit the ceiling, but I was like, oh, this is great. Like, we're gonna win this year. We're gonna do great this year, kind of a thing. It was a nice positive moment to go into the season, and then look what happened with Julius Randle. It's so funny to look back at that moment,
of course,
coming off the 4 seed year and going into last season and be like, and now, geez, like, what are we doing? What is this team?
Well, it makes sense because if you're thinking about it, you're coming off the 4 seed year, the disappointing series versus the Hawks, but then going in to last season with some serious expectations, and then you see that win versus Washington. Regardless of if it's preseason basketball, you're feeling good vibes and feeling excited about a guy that was your second team All NBA. So the hype meter is there. I wouldn't for the Nets. It's less of that in winning basketball and more of what I alluded to, just that they fucking took it seriously. And they, who knows what they really think about Steve Nash there and all of it. But it was refreshing to see them come out there, play this seriously, and then understanding, as you said, like, they've got to get to know each other. These guys have never played with Ben Simmons. He's got to get out there and he's got to get some chemistry and camaraderie with Joe Harris, with Patty Mills. And you could see Ben's ability to get people shots. He got so many open shots for Joe, for Patty, for Royce. He gets in the paint and then he just swings the ball around and he gets it to the open guy. But meanwhile, it's like, he can't shoot a basketball. It's wild. Now that I think I'm in the Benz, people listening are going, yeah, Biseglia, no shit. This is what happened. It's just now that I'm in the moment.
He is good. Yeah, he was the number 1 pick for a reason.
You're seeing it, and you're seeing like the great, and you're seeing the scary parts later. But if at the very least, it was refreshing to see some basketball.
So what is your win prediction official for the Nets this year?
Oh, man. Well, ESPN has them at like 44 or 43, which is like less than last year. I don't even know how, like, that would be remarkably
even a negative person to get 43. That's tough. But what's your?
I'll go with
to pick because
49.
There's so many factors.
49.
Say it again.
49.
Okay. Sorry, I kept talking.
Apology accepted. 49 wins.
49 wins. Okay, that's solid. That's
a
solid
net
number.
What's your net prediction?
I'll say 52.
That would tie the Nets 2001-2002 team, which has some of this shirt on it.
And I'm going to say that because I think the Nets are going to be on one early for the first few months and be like, really, like, if you're saying how they played tonight, like, they look like, wow, you know what I mean? And that's without guys. I know it's preseason, but it's just a matter of them actually playing, and it's so hard to pick records because so many things can happen. Like, let's say the Nets start off 20-2 and then they finish and they win 47 games. You're going to be mad.
Of course. It's like the Mets.
Right, like the Mets, exactly. And
let me just interject real quick. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to make it sound like the Nets looked like this. They were down at the half to the Sixers, who did not have Embiid and Harden. Their defense was atrocious. The Sixers had every wide open three they wanted in the first half. So there's a long way to go. But it was compared to last year's nonsense. It was nice to have an offensive rhythm, and that I surely did enjoy.
But they also can easily beat bad teams in their sleep. You know what I mean? Just with those 3 guys.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. You're going to beat the Pistons, the Rockets. You're going to win those games. And that's just those two teams, that's 6 wins. So let's say you get 5, you lose, you get picked off on 1, then that's 5 wins right there on just 2 teams. So it's just like, you easily can catch those guys on those nights. You might not win the games against the Celtics. I mean, well, who knows what the Celtics are right now, but the Bucks or those kinds of games, or the Heat. But it's going to be a crazy year for the Nets because it can go either way. I was listening to you with Evan on the Brooklyn's basketball podcast that you guys do together every week or whenever you do it. And it was funny because it's like it literally could be in the finals or the lottery. Like that's never possible in the NBA. Like that's a legitimate thing.
But they're so dysfunctional. It's crazy. Dysfunctional that you can't. It's hard to. Yeah, you just like wake up and you see like a Woj tweet and you go, no, thank goodness. Some guy never heard of signed a 10-day contract on the Rockets.
yeah, or Russell Westbrook it might get traded still. I mean, it's just we'll see. So
what's your Knick win total? Or am I going first for this?
My Knick, well, you went first to the Nets, so I'll do it. My Knick win total is 40.
Oh,
I'm being optimistic.
I'll go 48. No, I think I'll go 41.
41.
500 basketball.
Got it.
The East is so deep. It's like
it is. And the Knicks have talent. It's just like we were saying about the Nets. It's kind of like how do you get there? You know what I'm saying? It's just like, do they fire Tibbs in December and then they go on some crazy run and they win 37 games again? And then I'll be happy because they played like the kids and got rid of Randall or something. You know what I mean? Something like that happens. I'll be happy with 35 to 37 wins. If they come on strong and we know what Quentin Grimes is, we know what Obi Toppin is, we know what Quickly is, we know what these guys are. But if they're win 40 games with Fournier and Randall starting every game and Derrick Rose getting 25 minutes, 27 minutes off the bench, what the hell am I excited about? So it's very strange. So I'm going to say 40 because I don't know what's going to happen because of Tibbs and all the nonsense, but
can I well, so in the spirit of bringing up other podcasts, so I was on with Uncle Fulio,
right,
on his show. Check him out.
Nothing but Knicks channel. Yes.
And you had this funny comment because it's a YouTube show and there's live comments, and there was one comment that you laughed at. Can I bring this up?
Yes.
I mean, this is nothing like disparaging or anything.
I didn't make the comment.
Somebody else didn't, but it's not even that bad of a comment, but it's just really funny. I'm just scrolling through because I want to bring it up because it's like context. So I brought it up to my wife because I thought she'd find it really interesting.
Funny. I'll read it. I have it right here.
Okay. So I can't find it now. So I go on Uncle Fulio's show and, it's live chat. So I'm a net person on a Knick podcast. Mm-hmm. So I expect, there's going to be some bullshit, but go ahead and read it.
So Mike's sitting in his bedroom, not here where if you're watching on YouTube, he's sitting in his kitchen. That's his fridge. He doesn't have his fridge in his bedroom. But
I was upstairs because just time of day in context of like where I am with having a raging 2-year-old running around. I need to stage where I go.
Yeah. And so he's in his bedroom with his bed behind him and some pillows on the side. And this guy Bo Ismail says, "This dude shops at IKEA. Get him out of here." I don't know why that made me laugh so much. There's nothing wrong with IKEA. I think that's why it made me laugh so much because, like, okay, you get something at IKEA, but it's just like I was crying laughing.
But the funny part about this whole thing, and that's why I had to tell my wife about this too, is we're in the process of putting our home on the market. So we staged our home with shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's not even our stuff.
Generic stuff
staged,
from the realtor.
like when you move, you stage it so the home just looks perfect.
Yeah.
So that's not even our stuff. It's like, and I'm like, to me, I was like, this is great. Like ripping my furniture and bed. And I'm like, this shit in the room's not even mine. So my wife got a good kick out of that.
I was laughing. I was laughing because I know that from you telling me. And then I was also laughing because I was thinking about it as I was watching you guys. I was thinking about it. I was like, that doesn't look like Mike's room because you've recorded from rooms before.
Well, we don't have my dad. No, you've been in that room, but the perspective's changed because the desk is gone. So I had to record on like the dresser and then bring a chair upstairs, and it's facing the bit. Like it's a fucking disaster to record these during the day. No, at night I'm just here in the kitchen because everybody's asleep, and I'm, knock on wood, I don't wake anybody up. But I'm sitting here and it's fine. But I couldn't do that during the day, or you'd hear like fucking Coco Melon and fucking PJ Masks in the background. Like it'd be a disaster. So like the whole context of it and that guy. So anyway, I just in the spirit of doing that, I thought you would enjoy that story.
No, that was funny. It was really funny. And some of the stuff you were talking about on the show with him was pretty good. And Uncle Fulio actually became, maybe an accidental genius. I don't know what he's talking about. RJ Barrett now. The Knicks don't think of him as a star, and they're not going to pay him a max. And I thought he was crazy, so did everybody. And then all of a sudden, they're offering him up in deals for Donovan Mitchell, and he signs for less. So shout out to Uncle Fulio for getting that one right. But it's also just such a weird year overall with the Knicks. Like we don't know what's going to happen, sure, but like what I do know is that this roster makes no sense. They're not rebuilding, they're not competing. You got a coach that is old enough to collect Social Security. You're just like, what are we doing?
Is that your joke?
That's my joke. And like, it just doesn't make any sense. I just, what are we doing? Like, what are we waiting for? Like, are we rebuilding with him, or are we going to go in and get Donovan Mitchell? We're not. So now what the fuck? Like, what are we doing? And then like this, he plays, Tibbs plays Alec Burks last year, all year. And then they can't even trade him at the deadline. And for no reason, they could have. Somebody would have taken Alec Burks for like a second round pick. He's a quality backup. You know what I mean? But then they hand him to Detroit in the offseason for a future protected second round pick. And some guy in Yugoslavia that's 28 years old. So it's just like, why should I have any faith in this organization that they're going to get it right? And, Leon Rose on his press conference, quote unquote, air quotes, is like Tibbs has the full, support on the roster decisions. And, people tell me, yeah, keep the faith. Don't be so negative. Just like, how can you watch this as a rational fan and just be like, yeah, things are going great. I can't wait. They're going to kill it.
They're better than you've let on. Maybe they better, but
I'm excited for the season though. Don't get me wrong, but it's just, I just too rational for this.
Yeah. Well, I just don't know. They got to just get, it's funny because we talk about the net chemistry issues last season. I mean, the truth is like the Knicks chemistry issues were a disaster too, especially with Julius Randle and all the debacle that had happened there. I mean, it was a mess. It was a mess with him. So I
guess who's starting opening night?
Julius Randle. Has that been a official?
No, but he's gonna. I mean, his new contract kicks in this year. Of course, he's gonna start. Yeah. The guy was shut down last year at the end of the season because he was such a problem. But we're just gonna brush it under the rug, like nothing happened. Brush it under the rug. Brush it under the rug. Forget about Obi Toppin. He's 8th pick in the draft. Just forget about him.
Yeah, I think that's the as an outsider watching the Knicks, I think that's the thing I'm most interested in. I think is the distribution of minutes that Obi Toppin gets for the Knicks with Julius Randle and how that comes together. I think that for me is what I'm most interested in watching from Coach Tibbs. I think the rest of it will work itself out. Like I think Evan Fournier won't play when it matters. I think that stuff will stay the same. But for me, I'm really fascinated by what the hell happens there.
Yeah, it's weird. They're just a weird team. Like they don't make any sense on paper. You got Brunson, Rose, and Quickly, who are point guards adjacent. You got Grimes, Fournier, and you also have McBride. Also, don't forget about Deuce McBride, who's not somebody to go crazy over, but whatever. You got this off the top of my head. I'm not looking at it, but you have Fournier, Grimes, and then you have Cam Reddish, who was a 10th pick in the draft 3 years ago. You have
they're deep.
Yeah, RJ Barrett and obviously and Obi and Randall and Hartenstein and Sims and Mitchell Robinson. It's just like, why do you have so many players that are the same level of talent? It's like if you're, I don't know what they're rated in 2K, but you have a bunch of 75 guys, and 2 guys that are in their 80s. That's just if you're thinking play 2K. You know what I'm saying? I'm not looking at the ratings either, but it's just weird. That's why you had to go get Donovan Mitchell, because you had the chance to actually take a step forward. And I know I'm beating a dead horse, but I'm just so uninspired by this season, and I'm excited still. Tomorrow when the game's on, it's preseason, I'm gonna be locked in, I'm gonna be excited, I'm gonna hope for the best, but it's just so hard for me right now. It really is.
You really think Rudy Gobert's a Hall of Famer?
Yeah, easy Hall of Famer. First ballot. Yeah, maybe second.
Am I missing something?
How many defensive player of the years does he have?
I don't know.
All-Stars. He
I
has
don't
at least
know.
3.
I mean, I never really think about it in context. Like Rudy Gobert in the Hall of Fame just sounds like something weird to say out loud. I don't know.
Okay,
I guess
3-time
because the
All-Star,
Jazz have done nothing.
3-time All-Star, 3-time All-NBA third team, All-NBA second team once, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year,
Yeah.
6-time
Yeah.
All-NBA first team,
Wait,
NBA
6-time?
whatever. Yeah, French Player of the Year in
It was a
2019.
6-time All NBA first team.
All defensive first
Oh,
team.
all defensive first.
Sorry,
Team.
yeah, I made a mistake. Yes,
Yeah, you did.
but he he's also won a silver medal with the French basketball team. He plays big in the Eurobasket. That's huge, man. Eurobasket is huge.
You know, it is. I mean, because it is the
You shut your video off, by the way.
yeah, that was.
There you go.
If
you're watching on YouTube,
my
that
Zoom
just
was
threw me
acting funky. I know it. So yeah, I guess you
But
know
yeah,
what the
no,
funny thing is? I started
Eurobasket is big. So
yeah,
go
you're
ahead.
right. I think you're right. I think you make a good case. I think I just don't ever think like, oh, Rudy Gobert's in the the Hall of Fame.
Well, think about Yao Ming. I mean, Yao Ming it's not the NBA Hall of Fame.
No, I
first
get
of
that.
all.
You're right.
It's the
No,
basketball.
I understand that. I understand.
Yao
that.
Ming is just what was he? I'll look at it. Oh, he's an 8-time All-Star. Why did I think he was less than 8-time All-Star? Jeez, it was a long time. Well, he also got voted in a lot. I mean, he was great, but like he wasn't an 8-time starter NBA, All-Star.
International voting, helped.
But you know what?
No, it's a fair assessment. No, you're right. I think you're right. I think at first glance when I hear that, it's like, I don't know. It's
jarring, right? But it's true. But it's like Dwight
Howard
Howard
for the COVID stuff.
Easy. Yeah, Dwight Howard, easy Hall of Fame.
Easy
It's
Hall of
kind of
Famer.
same kind of idea.
Easy. Yeah. No.
Dwight Howard did get a team to the finals, but still, it's
better player, better career.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it's not over yet. I mean, we'll see what happens in Minnesota. That's gonna be crazy. Team. It's a weird team, man. In Minnesota,
that is bizarre. I think they're one of the teams I would say on like an overall landscape people are most interested in watching. Like definitely the T-Wolves because they have such a blend of young talent. Mm-hmm. They have a huge front court, and they have first time in forever some serious expectations. The T-Wolves are definitely going to be a team that's going to be fascinating to see this year unravel. The guy or not unravel. I shouldn't say that. Just fascinating to see what happens.
Right. It's crazy because how do they have so much money? I understand how NBA contracts work. They traded like 5 guys to get Rudy Gobert, but like you're paying D'Angelo Russell a ton of money. You're paying Towns a ton of money. You're paying now Gobert a ton of money.
Look at the Nets.
Yeah. But like why is it such a problem for the Knicks to come and bring in? I keep going back to Donovan Mitchell. Like people complain about money and RJ Barrett and like, why couldn't you sign RJ Barrett and then trade for Donovan Mitchell? Like it's just I'm just losing my mind here, but it's just all of these teams, they the Knicks, we never have cap space. We need cap space. All these teams are just the $700 million over the cap and they're totally fine, but the Knicks can't figure that shit out. It drives me crazy.
Oh, I bet it does. I realized that I forgot like, there was a nice there's a positive and negative to the NBA season starting. I did like the fact that I'm reminded now by how much Twitter is a disaster for me mentally during basketball games and how much can get under my skin. Mm-hmm. Your Ben Simmons tweet, it didn't get under my skin because I knew what you were doing. Yeah. But what gets under my skin is the people that laugh and fall for it. That's what bothers me.
Right.
And like at first I was like
clearly fucking around. Like I'm clearly joking.
And at first I was like a little bothered by it type. And then I was like, Mike, what are you doing? But I was reminded that in season how that is part of the gig. And it was kind of nice in the off season, especially just with how bad the Nets were, even though the Nets not off season wasn't exactly peaceful, but it was just nice to not have any like, you writing in all caps, RJ Barrett, let's go. I mean, all this nonsense. Like it was just, it was just not there. But that was like a reminder that it's coming back and it's coming back fast and it's coming back hard.
It is. It's exciting. Next preseason tomorrow. I'm very, very pumped. Or today, whenever you're listening to this, I'm very excited for it. Don't get me wrong. I'm very, very, very excited. Nothing gets me more excited sports wise than
were they playing?
Probably the Knicks. I have no idea. No idea. I did know, and I just totally
put you on the spot.
You did. I'll look it up, and I'll act like I know.
I'm gonna leave you.
They're playing the Pistons. Oh, Alec Burks and Nerlens Noel's homecoming, and Kemba Walker. I don't think they're even playing. Kevin Knox too. This is like Knicks Midwest that they got over there.
Coach Thibodeau's gonna go over there for a quarter just so he can play him.
just so he can bench Knox again.
And he's gonna play like Alec Burks.
Oh,
You go, coach, I'm not with you. He goes, I don't give a fuck. I want to play.
Right. He's going to play him over Cade Cunningham and what's his name? The other rookie that they got that the Knicks didn't want to trade for either.
Dwayne Casey's going to be like, what the fuck are you doing? But trust me, play this guy. You got to do it.
What's the kid's name? The point guard that the Knicks were going to trade for, but then they got scared, just like with Donovan Mitchell. The hell's his name?
Yes.
Jaden Ivey. There you go.
Yes,
That's
Ivy.
the guy. Yeah. So they got Cade and Ivy, and Tibbs is gonna play Alec Burks 47 minutes.
Coach
Point
Casey,
guard.
trust me, I know what I'm doing here. You got to not play this guy. I realize you have all these young players, and you got a lot of these guys that are top 5 draft picks on your roster. You don't want any part of it. I promise you. You got to do this, Coach. It's the right decision.
What's funny, seriously speaking, the Pistons have some talent, man. They really do. They're not like gonna be the basement unless Ivy blows. But like Cade Cunningham looked like he was good. Killian Hayes, they got some guys, man. So Isaiah Stewart was good, and he wants to kill LeBron. Remember that video last year when he was running? Russell Westbrook went up with the fists. Like what? What?
He got into it with Blake Griffin as well. Did you see the Blake Griffin news?
No.
Well, there's a porn star, Lana Rhodes, and she was in the news a year or two ago because she had sex with one of the Nets, but we didn't know which net. If you look at the picture of the baby,
I didn't get the context. I saw
everybody's
people
like,
post
well,
that.
we know who she had sex with.
Like Blake thinks he's slick. People were saying shit like that, and I didn't understand what they were talking about.
Baby's
just a woman holding a baby, and the baby's like red hair, right?
It's like a mini Blake Griffin. It's like it's Blake.
Oh, poor. Oh, congrats to him. I guess.
I mean, that's not confirmed or anything, but that was just like the big scandal that's going on the internet. So NBA game in the books. Nets lose to the 76ers 127-108. Knicks play again. Knicks play for the first time tomorrow night. Just felt good, Alex, to have a
game,
game in the books. Did you go ahead, go for it?
No, I was saying I did every year I do a Knicks record prediction tweet.
Yeah.
And I want Knicks fans to give it because, I want to put them to put their money where their mouth is. Of course, all the fans that are saying like the Knicks did the right thing this offseason. They're going to be fine. They're going to be good. I'm like, all right, well, then give me your win total. What's your win total? And then where they're like, well, the 40, 42. I'm like, okay, well, how is that not purgatory? But anyway, so one guy got it right last year, or the closest. He got 35, which everybody thought he was crazy. Nicholas Bailey. He does he hosts a show at Old Westbury Web Radio in college. I went on a show. Remember, I cursed by accident on the radio on a college radio show.
Yeah,
I'm an asshole. But
but that does. Yeah, you can't curse on terrestrial radio, bro.
College radio too. Yeah, so we got a couple of good ones. So Nino, our boy at L_Nino201, he said 46 wins. People are underestimating the Jalen Brunson signing, including yourself, sir. He's going to solidify the position better than anyone we have had in the past 5 years and make stuff easier for RJ and gang on offense. But we still have Tibbs and Julius Randle and Evan Fournier. Coonies, our boy at Kunal_ whatever, how many underscores? He goes 41 wins, will be 500, and Tibbs will get a supermax, sadly. So we're going to give a coach a supermax contract, apparently, according to Coonies.
Can I ask you this real quick? So everybody, sure. Did anybody else guess in the 30s last year?
Last year, I don't think so. Last year, I know Nick got as close. He got 35, so he's 2 under. But since he was under, Price is Right rules always.
Okay.
So he wasn't over. So let's see. So we got some 52. We got 52. We got 50, 49, 45, 47, 50, 50, 53, 50. 41, 52, 40. We were hyped up last year, man. And myself included. I said 47. So I'm not going to act like I knew there would be, 37.
Which just shows you that maybe everybody's wrong. Like if you were so wrong last year about them being good, maybe you'll be wrong this year about them being bad.
Maybe.
Or mediocre.
Maybe. I'm trying to find another one. I see 53, 46, 54, 55. Like, come on.
Who had the 55?
It's at SHUAIBA 12. Schwabi 12 A12, and he's got a picture of like SpongeBob or something with an.
And what was the rationale? Is there like a response, or is it just
no? It's just a
double nickel.
Okay. Yeah, the faceless, nameless people are the biggest geniuses. You know that.
It'd be fun to read the responses, like why they had this number. I'm just looking for any way to punish Nick.
At Nick's letter 53 and 29. Randall will start the All-Star game.
These are funny. Give me one more, just for my own pleasure. Do it for me.
Okay. Moses Scurry at Mecca God. Oh, this is gonna be your favorite person. Was always in the 46 to 52 range. I know we better win more than 41, but we can really push to 50 burger if we handle our business the next 2 weeks. So maybe. Then let's see. Sin. He's at Utica NY Bori, Bori. 51 and 31. Said it a while back, and I'm still keeping it. Let's go Knicks. New York forever. I'm with 45 to 50 crowd. Big thing with them. I expect a big trade at some point. Lillard, Beal, Towns, Foxons, or Zion. No, that's Tony Gonzalez at Gons _3014. Not Tony Gonzalez, the tight end.
And trust me, if you looked up my old tweets, I've said some dumb stuff.
Oh yeah,
in regards to predictions. You get kind of emotional.
These are great.
This is fun. I could do this for the rest of the evening. Give me one more. Just one more. Give me 10 more.
I gotta find. We got one guy with 33. Wow, free. But
let's see.
His name is Free Speech 13. He's at Johnny Toons with like a cartoon picture, so he's not a real person.
It was a net fan.
Yeah, just being a jerk. Okay, I hope so. This is not the Fa you're thinking.
Are we going back?
Fuck you.
This is
What'd
you say to me?
October 20th, 2021. This
fuck
is not
you
the
to me. What did you say?
His name. Fuck you. FAHQ. He's at Script Demon. I hope the New York Knicks will go 44 and 38. I believe the talent could get to 50, but the best thing for the Knicks team would be to play Obi Knox IQ and do a lot. 1, rest the vets. 2, establish some great trade value. Knicks need to be in position to trade for a star. Must play the youngsters. So he's kind of like accidentally a genius, that one.
If you think that's the best way to get better, I mean, that's not what the Knicks coaching staff thinks.
It's true. I'm trying to find a funny one.
It's okay. Here we go. Put you on the
spot. Our boy, last one, John Acevedo. He's a good listener of ours. At Johnny John 83. 51. Our team is better than last year, and 2 of the top 3 teams are going to be dealing with turmoil all season, barring trades to Kyrie or Ben. We play hard every game. RJ, Obi, IQ are going to be better, and Julius was all NBA. Is any team as deep as we are? And then somebody battered Nets fan responded, Bulls, Heat, and Hawks will be better this year, though.
And I'm sure what was the response to that? No, they won't.
Nothing. He said, oh yeah, you're right. No, he goes, not necessarily. I think people are overestimating the Bulls and Heat. Hawks are legit though. And then I think the Bulls this year will be what the Knicks were last year, and the Heat are gone. This is just boring now. But
although he was right.
Yeah, but it's just fun. It's fun to look at, especially
fun to look back.
It really is. We got some 44s, 41s this year.
That was great.
Everybody seems to be around somewhere between 35 and 42 to be rational. Some are being crazy, but our guy
better than Washington
podcast. I don't know. I don't know if they're saying better than Washington. I don't know if that's a very specific team.
No, would the Knicks be better than the Wizards?
Oh, you're just asking me straight up?
Yeah. Who are the Knicks better than in the East? In your opinion?
The Pistons?
Orlando.
Let me pull up the standings so I'm not in NBA mode. Hold on.
Charlotte.
Charlotte, no.
They're not better than Charlotte.
Oh, well, actually, Bridge is gone, right? So maybe Charlotte, I guess.
Do you think they're in the Charlotte, Washington?
See, that's the thing. I don't know, because I don't know what this team is going to be. Like, I know Brunson can help. He's not that great, but he's very, very good. He'll help. But what is Tibbs is the question. What is Randall? What is Fournier? Who's playing? Like, if you were playing Brunson, Grimes, Barrett, Toppin, Mitchell Robinson, Derrick Rose off the bench, Fournier off the bench, Cam Reddish got some minutes, Hartenstein, Sims. Then I'm like, all right, we've got a good squad. We win 42, 45 games. And, you never know. And I can be excited quickly. I forgot him too. Don't let me forget him. Then we go win some games. But like now it's just like, you got Randall, who's going to be a mess. You got Fournier, who will drop 50 one night and then 3 the next 4 games. And then all of a sudden his average is 25. You're like, oh my God, this guy's great. It's just, I don't know what we're going to be. That's why it's so hard to nail down a number. That's why I said 40, just to be nice. I do think it's going to be less, but I'm just trying to be like optimistic a little bit. But I do think they could be better than the Pacers. I don't know.
Pacers stink.
Oh, they dropped everybody, right? Yeah. Okay.
Pacers
so they have nobody left. They lost Brogdon, right? He's gone. He's with the Celtics, right?
Yeah.
So yeah. They could be better than the Magic, unless the
they have young
rookie,
play.
the kid is
They have a
great.
lot of young pieces, but they're kind of the Magic Pistons, that young
Yeah.
rebuild mode.
So they're not better. I'll give you the teams they're not better than: the Sixers, Raptors, Celtics, Hawks, Bulls. Well, it depends on Lonzo. Cavaliers, they're not better than the Heat. They're not better than the Bucks. Are not better than the Nets. Are not better than. But the Nets is also a wild card, as you know. Hornets, they're probably even with the Hornets. Wizards, that's a tough team because they got some talent. I mean, Porzingis is kind of a joke,
And
but
Beal.
like they got Beal and they got Dinwiddie, and they Dinwiddie's not there.
No,
He's gone.
no,
That's
Dinwiddie's
right. That was
gone.
for Porzingis. That was stupid. So who's on that team? Like, who's on the Wizards now?
I think what happens to Porzingis in the kind of year he has, I think this will define the rest of his career. Like, because he's been forgotten.
Kuzma.
He's not, and he had a nice year. Kuzma. He's been talked about. He's not talked about at all anymore in NBA circles. Like, there's no more Kristaps.
He's not on the Lakers. Yeah. Oh, Porzingis. I thought you were talking about Kuzma for a second.
No. But Kuzma quietly had a very nice season for Washington and improved on all the things that would actually have been a nice fit. And it's ironic now because the Lakers would deal Westbrook for Kuzma in a second and would help them dramatically, but that's bad business from a trade from the year before. But I really look at this year for Kristaps Porzingis. Are you going to be somebody that's respected in the NBA, or are you just going to continue to get banished? Because we saw what happened with the Mavericks when they dealt him for Dinwiddie. This team went from, are we contending from a playoff to we're in the Final Four in the Western Conference Finals. And it's no coincidence when Porzingis was shipped out and Dinwiddie came in that Luka took off even to another level. Jalen Brunson exceeded expectations. Now he's gone with the Knicks, has the big contract. And I just think for Porzingis, it's what are you, man? Are you a role player? Are you going to be a star with Beal? Like what are you? And I think for him this year, it's really on his shoulders, because if it's not this year, he's gone from NBA conversations. If the Wizards are 36 and 46, he's in and out of lineup. Like, it is over for Kristaps Porzingis.
Yeah, and he might get another contract, but he's not going to touch a max number ever.
God, that's crazy.
Yeah, and so the Wizards got a nice little lineup. Then Monte Morris is there now. Bradley Beal, Will Barton, Kuzma, and Porzingis is their assumed starting five on ESPN's depth chart. Roy Hachimura on the bench. You got Denny still around somewhere. That's such a weird draft because like Obi and then Denny 8 and 9 in that draft 2 years ago, and Obi is showing flashes and Denny is showing some flashes. Not like as many as Obi, I feel like. Maybe it's because I don't watch him as much, but
probably.
I don't think Denny would drop at 40 at any point, even against the backups. You know what I mean? But like,
fucking Obi Toppin had one game where against the Raptors where I was playing, and it's like, for the love of God, I get it.
He had more than one game though. His last
he had a nice
stretch,
couple weeks. He had a nice couple weeks.
But when they sent Randall home, which is crazy that people are the Knicks are just acting like that didn't happen. They banished him. They said, "Oh, you're injured. Just get out of here, dude."
So I bring it back to that's the most important, interesting connection for me is those two and what happens with minute distributions, because Tibbs didn't play them together last year at all. So when one guy was on the court, the other guy wasn't. So that's why, to me, that's from a Nick angle watching that's the most interesting. Like what? Go ahead.
I was gonna say the last 5 games of the season. Do you want to guess how many points per game Obi
average? 27.6.
Wow, 27.2. You were over, so you're wrong. So Price is Right rules. You're wrong.
Well, Alex, I know my Knicks. Like, what do you want from me? Like, you're gonna ask me that and not expect me to know that he averaged?
That's crazy. So he went 20, 20, 19, 35, 42. That's crazy. So he averaged 27, 6, and 2.8 assists with a block and a steal. Like, dude.
Well, your coaching staff doesn't believe in him as a starter.
It's insane. And these weren't against, like, not all bad teams. I know the Raptors are resting everybody last game of the year, but against the Cavs, they lost. The Magic, there were nothing. I know these teams weren't that great and quickly had a triple-double against the Magic in that game and stuff like that. But, like, let these guys.
Well, they got to play.
Let's just see what the fuck they are, man.
I can't yes, of course. And I'm trolling Knick fans when I talk about that, because then you're watching and go, you didn't watch Pacifically. You don't know this guy's that. I get it. But yeah, you're right. Obviously, they do have to play. Yeah, I'm most interested in that angle with the Knicks. What net angle interests you the most going into this season? Like, for me, it's the Obi Randall minute distribution. What, from what if from your end and not, does Patty Mills rebound and play well within a limited role with only 10
Nope.
minutes? What's
My
yours?
most interesting angle is Steve Nash.
Mm.
Is what is going to happen if they go through like a 3 to 5 game losing streak. Like, because the Nets dug their heels in, like, we will not fire him, and then now mid-season, you were like, well, you know what? We were just kidding. Like the vaccine stuff with Kyrie. Yeah, we will take a stand. You will not play without your vaccination. You will not be a part-time player. Like, well, you know what? We kind of need you, man. So it's just the Nets have been known to flip-flop a little bit, like with Kenny Atkinson too. So the Nash stuff, I think I'm kind of rooting for, because it'll be complete chaos for the Nets again. So I'm always rooting for chaos for the Nets. So that's the best. Like, I'm not rooting for injuries. I'm not rooting for a vaccine thing to happen again. I'm not rooting for any of that crap. That's just a bunch of crap. And I don't want to talk about it on the podcast. I don't care about any of that shit anymore. But this Nash stuff is fascinating to me because of what they, because Durant's acting like, oh, well, it showed how great I am. Nobody, the Nets didn't want to trade me for nothing. Like, Jaylen Brown is not nothing. The Nets just wanted an absurd amount for a 34-year-old, and on teams didn't want to gut their roster for you, but it's just these athletes are, some like Durant especially is very delusional. And so is Kyrie, but that's another story. Nash is the answer. Go ahead.
Kyrie had an Instagram post where he's playing I won't do it. He's playing basketball and he says,
"Yeah, don't do it." No, it's good. Is it real or fake? First,
it's real. My princess told me, "Don't you mess around this year, Daddy. Everyone will be watching."
You know what that's translation? Can I translate that?
No.
The translation is, "Don't mess around, Daddy. You're on an expiring contract." You gotta get that money. We got bills. You know what I mean? He's got a lot of money, but once you start living at a certain level, you need to keep that up.
Well, yeah,
he's not going to go broke, but the days of athletes going broke are long gone, thank God, because people have financial advisors now and people that they can trust and things like that. You're not going to have those unless there's some crazy story, but it's not like what it used to be, the guys like Kenny Anderson or things like that, So
is he? I just is like, that's sweet and cute, but you got to do it, man. But at least, first of all, it shows that he loves media attention. Kyrie Irving loves
and he
it.
acts like, why do you guys?
Of course, he loves
me?
it, but does he? I'm conflicted. I'm like, oh my God, just show it on the court, or I'm like, maybe this is his way of showing that he will play this year.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe these are the clues and the signs that it is coming. Because I know you're looking on the internet. I know exactly where you're going next.
Where am I going?
You were Googling something, and I know exactly what topic you're going to next.
What is that? You're going to be wrong.
Did you look up a topic?
I was just looking up something. I had an alert on Twitter, so I wanted to see what it was. And
I was trying to guess your topic, but I won't do it.
Well, I wasn't. I got onto Twitter while you were talking because I wanted to see if Kyrie had tweeted anything recently. That's what I was looking for. And then I saw Jason Tatum reposted our friends at New York Basketball at NBA_New York. They post a lot of Knicks clips and they've posted some stuff of ours. And it's a great, great account. If you don't follow them on Twitter, you should. Just Derrick Rose, how he's so in tune with who he is now. He goes, the reality is I'm 33, turning 34 tomorrow. Oh, happy birthday, Derrick Rose. That guy that I used to be had an ego. I've been killed that ego a long time ago. So I'm a totally different person, which I should be. I'm way more mature and still trying to challenge myself to be more vocal. And Jason Tatum reposted it and said this, so he respects him. Derrick Rose has a lot of respect around the NBA, and he's like the player coach on the floor. These guys looked up to him. He's the MVP of the league when these guys were in middle school, so it's insane, but it's true.
Right.
And so losing him last year was big, but if losing a 33-year-old point guard is the reason why your team screws up, then you never had stability to begin with.
We lost a 29-year-old point guard, and so it happened.
But that's a little
no, I love
D
Rose. I mean, I think like you said, around the NBA circles and his how humble he sounds too is remarkable. He just seems like a great human being from everything that he had gone through, and to get to this point, he's somebody. I'm not rooting for the Knicks to win games, but I'm rooting for him. I really am.
Right. No, I hear you. Yeah, respect to him. For sure.
Alex, I know we were starting to do a little bit of it with the Nick win totals, but I hijacked you from that when I started talking about going back to win totals from last year and you reading those responses because I got a kick out of that. Your thoughts, live producing here with you on the air. We save that for next week as we are still 2 weeks away from the regular season to get some of those win totals in.
Okay. So we're doing that again?
No,
Next week?
no, we said last year's. You didn't give the people's picks this year's, did you? You gave a couple.
Oh, I gave a couple. You want me to go through some for this year?
Save them for next week. Save them
next
for
week. We'll read some next
tease
week
for the
Okay,
audience.
fine.
Yeah, and
Little
then they can
tease,
still
a
get them
little
in.
tease.
You want to tweet them out?
Yeah. And real quick, how about those Mets?
Whatever.
Yeah. And the Braves lost tonight, which makes it even worse. They literally could have been in the driver's seat. They win one game this weekend. One fucking game. These assholes.
I mean, and for anybody that believes the Mets lost because any broadcaster or anybody like that
morons.
declared them winners,
Morons.
no. The Mets just aren't as good as Atlanta, and it showed through the course of a season. Sometimes it takes the entire season to get there.
Mhm.
But Atlanta proved to be the better team. The Mets stars did not show up in big spots, and the Braves stars did. I texted this to you as well. Like, I just like the Knicks more than any team in sports.
Yeah.
But I could see myself. This is like, I don't know, this like a weird concept, but I could see like if the Knicks won a championship, it'd be way more painful for me personally than if the Braves did. But I could see myself like at some point in my life rooting for the Knicks before I ever rooted for the Braves.
Oh yeah. Never.
If that makes sense.
Never. I've been getting like PTSD to when we were kids with the Braves being so dominant again. You know, they won the World Series last year, and now this year they're
It felt similar.
Yeah, like going into Atlanta and losing in Atlanta big games again. It's just like different stadium, but same city. It's just
Same
like,
shit.
God damn.
It felt similar.
Come on.
It felt very similar.
And maybe this is, we always talk about Buck Showalter, the manager, is such a respected man around baseball. He brought a stability to the Mets, but he's never won. And you're seeing maybe this is why, because when the going gets tough, man, that's when, things get real for people. And starts fotzing with the rotation and putting guys on different rests, to get them to, lined up for the series. You call up Alvarez, 20-year-old, first at bat is in Atlanta in the biggest spot. I know he's going to be a star. They think he's going to be, but like could have brought him up a week ago.
Wasn't ideal.
3 days earlier,
he looked overmatched.
Yeah. And he was smiling. He was like, whoa, that's a curveball. And he's striking out. It's like, holy fuck. Like that could have happened, at home, a week ago.
Versus the Cubs series, where they were looking like trash.
Not having Marte really hurts them too. But like it sucks because went down with our top 3 pitchers, superstar pitchers, Hall of Fame pitchers, and you didn't even get to see Diaz. It was just the most excruciating kind of weekend. And
I mean, the weird part about this is, is that they are going to be in the wild card series and have the home field.
Yeah.
And have
play
all
three
games at Citi Field.
So weird. Like,
well, I like it because you play 162 regular season games, like, and your advantage is one game in a best of 3. Like, I like the idea of giving it, because it's just baseball is like that. Like,
it gives you a reason to get the top wild card, right?
Yeah, like look at how look at it before when they had it with the other wild card system, and you won your division, and your advantage was a one more home game.
Yeah,
all of that. Like, at least now, which is why it's even more painful. You lose the division. You now have to play extra games. The road is a bajillion times more difficult.
Yeah,
as opposed to the Braves that can rest, be ready for the next series. Now it's like looking like if the Mets play the Padres and then have to go to LA. It's a lot more difficult than just waiting and having a round off. And that's why it's more painful. If it was like the old system, you'd be like, okay, they didn't win the division, but they're in the wild card game. And okay, so they lost the home field in the first. Like, but it wouldn't, you know what I mean? Like, now you really lost something that you could have had to your advantage. Sure. But it doesn't mean it's over. Like, the Mets could get hot, win those games, and then pour into the next round. Like, that could happen too. Doesn't feel that way right now.
And the Braves can lose out. I mean, they lost. They could lose out, and the Mets can sweep, and they win the division.
But part of me, don't you want the Braves again? Like, don't you? I mean, I know maybe I'm like a glutton for punishment, but like part of me is like,
No,
I would love to
No.
see that. I would love to beat their ass in
Nope.
the playoffs.
nope. I just want to win. I don't give a shit. Who
No,
it's
but I would
against.
like it. It would just be
Yeah,
fun
yeah,
to beat
yeah.
them. That's the
One of
one
my-
stadium where the
Yeah.
Met fans don't invade. You got to give, like, you go to Phillies games, Nats
Mhm.
games, Marlins games, any other NL East team, it's all Met fans.
Right.
There was a couple sprinkled in. Man, you go to a Braves game, it is Braves.
Right. They
fans.
do the chant. They shut the lights now with the cell phone
Oh, it's
cameras.
miserable.
That's like, honestly, that's really cool. It's a really cool thing. And you know, if nobody's seen it, YouTube it. I don't know if Knicks fans or Nets fans really follow baseball as much, but
They
YouTube
do.
Braves tomahawk chant where they're doing
Chop.
oh, and then they get everybody. They shut the lights. Everybody gets their camera lights on, and they're doing the chop in dark with the light. Like it's like whoa, and like you're in a reliever coming in, you're just like, what is this shit? You know what I mean? This is not my entrance music.
Painful.
You know?
That was
Yeah, but
I wanna
that was tough to
vomit.
watch, man. And it just sucks. It just overall sucks. But my mental coping in my head, I'm trying to like make myself happy is like, well, maybe I don't have to worry about game 2 of the NLCS now with the Knicks opening night. It's just
Oh, it's too
it
far
sucks
from that.
It sucks. It sucks.
It's
'cause I
way
wanna
too
root
far
for
from
it.
that.
I know.
Too far from that.
I know.
So don't
Oh.
you know? It
At
is
least the Jets
crazy
are a
that the
fake 2-2.
Braves-
That's great. You know what I mean? I'm happy about that.
Yeah, the
Giants are
Jets and
3-1.
Giants. The
Yeah.
Giants are 3-1. The Jets are 2-2, and they both really aren't good.
No, I mean the Jets won one miracle game they shouldn't have won. It was just
Steelers
like
have
once in a
problems.
lifetime. Yeah, yeah. And then this game they poorly coached and they beat the Steelers when they played 2 quarterbacks and a rookie that was, you know, he did okay, but like, you know, a rookie quarterback ran over CJ Mosley to score a touchdown on the goal line. Like, come on, man. You know,
Hey,
it's
but
just,
they won, Alex.
they won, but
they
it's just,
went. You're still in Pittsburgh winning.
you're not
football
beating good
games.
teams. You're not beating good teams. They're not
Still
going to be
going into Pittsburgh and winning. You know, it's not easy.
beat the Dolphins. Beat the Dolphins this weekend, and then I'll start getting stuff like okay, and win. Like don't look like on some miracle shit. Like you're down a touchdown and 2 touchdowns at the end of the game. Like be in the game and win the game. Like, you know, don't be like, oh, some miracle, like fucking, oh, a guy missed the field goal and, you know, somehow ran back the field goal and scored a touchdown unless, you know, some kind of shit.
It's fun.
You know,
It's funny because the Giants, right? It's like Saquon Barkley's been incredible. I mean, he really
played
is
quarterback too, man. He's the quarterback.
I mean,
too.
but he's playing quarterback. You know, Danny Jones is hurt again. Tyrod Taylor comes in the game, gives everything, gives all his effort, but leads his head first. Unfortunately, then he's concussed. So your third string quarterback, essentially, which just becomes Saquon and the Wildcat because the Giants are kind of nursing and protecting their lead and they just don't want to do anything wild. So Daniel Jones is out wide playing wide receiver. But here's a Giants team that is now getting smashed by injuries once again. They're 3-1, but it's like, okay, what's going to happen now when you see Aaron Rodgers, right? What's going to happen when you see the Baltimore Ravens? How is that going to change? And you're like, okay, you know what Rodgers in London, all right.
But you know what?
You're going to have to score more than 19 points, 20 points.
Yeah, sorry, I'm stopping on you. But like the Jets are 2-2 and the Giants are 3-1. You know what? It's better than 0-5. It's better than 1-4.
Which is what we're used to.
Yeah.
Which is what we're used to. No doubt about that. This has
All
been
right.
Bad Weather Fans, episode 138. Mike and Alex. Mike B. Alex B. Brooklyn Nets fall to the Philadelphia 76ers preseason debut, 127-108. Ben Simmons makes his debut. If you got this far in the episode, you already know what we had to say about that. And then the Knicks, their preseason debut begins on Tuesday night when they play the Detroit Pistons. Don't forget, everybody, this podcast is found on Apple, Spotify. Go ahead and make sure that you follow the show on those platforms. And if you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the Bad Weather Fans content. And if you're listening to this, you want to check it out, what it looks like on YouTube, just type in Bad Weather Fans and you can get to watch the podcast. 49 wins for the Nets is what I say. Alex says 40 wins for the Knicks. What will really happen? I know we're both probably more on the pessimistic side, but that's just the nature of the show because it is Bad Weather Fans. That's just the way we roll. But Alex, it was nice to have some real hoops to talk about. Hopefully you'll be allowed to watch more net games in the future and that won't be a problem. But good shit as always. And enjoy watching the Kings of New York tomorrow night play against the Pistons.
Okay. Thank you. And you know, as my old boss used to say, take care, brush your hair. So yeah.
Peace.